making the children sick and compromising diabetic Penelope's health, the couple made changes to the property, including fitting roof insulation and a heat pump. But with little discernible difference after the upgrades, the call went out to the homesick experts.
These walls are very, very wet.
And it's freezing cold in here.
There's moisture everywhere, there's wet dirt, so there's a few problems.
The house is now undergoing further testing to try and get to the root of the family's health crisis. Thermal imaging confirms insulation in the ceiling, but darker patches on the walls also reveal the presence of cold and possible moisture. And with tests sent away to the lab for analysis, the Wallaces undergo a medical with Dr. Jen to confirm the current state of their health. The test results are back, and there are a few surprises in store for Darren and Penelope.
Darren, Penelope, can you explain? So can you tell me what you make of what you see?
Well, didn't sort of realise it was quite that bad.
In essence, what we find is that there are a series of attempts that have been made to address environmental issues inside the house, and none of them seem to have been particularly successful. There is quite strong evidence for moisture throughout large areas of the house.
So this is not drainage, this is just a downpipe going straight into the ground, so that's contributing to the moisture factor.
The most significant area is in your bedroom itself. There's large amounts of mold as a consequence throughout the wall space and also in your wardrobe space.
When we did the allergy test on yourself and your children, we found that Wee's stomach was allergic to mold. And I feel that the mold that's in her room could be affecting her health and her respiratory system. We really need to think about how we can reduce the allergens that are triggering her asthma. And the two that came up really strongly on the allergy testing was the dust mite and the mold.
As well as skin debris, dust mites can thrive on mold, which can cause a double blow for allergy sufferers. Dust mite populations tend to be higher in mouldy homes, and their feces are even more allergenic due to their diet.
Well, we had no idea that she was allergic to anything. We knew that she had asthma, and we could see that it was happening in the winter. But that's news to us that she's allergic to mold and dust mites.
The thing that saddens me is, like so many other New Zealanders who have mold inside their house, they're addressing the symptoms of the mold rather than trying to solve the problem and eradicate it altogether. So wiping mold off the surfaces of wallpaper, which you suggested you've been doing, just isn't getting to the root cause of the problem. There's a very unholy trinity of three things which contribute to the root cause. One is moisture rising from underneath the house. The other is resident moisture within the house because of inadequate ventilation. The third factor is the fact that the overall temperature of the house is extremely cold. As long as the house temperature stays low, that moisture isn't encouraged to stay in a vapor phase and exit from the house.
Researchers from Otago University recently attributed cold, damp and poorly maintained homes to the soaring death rate during the winter months. New Zealand has one of the highest excess winter death rates in the developed world, higher than even the road death toll.
Cold air can aggravate asthma and make it a lot worse.
So we've got to turn your house from a relatively poorly ventilated fridge into a warmer, more pleasant environment altogether.
That would be good.
Penelope, I'm also very concerned about your diabetes. We've discussed it, and you are what we would call a very acute diabetic or a very brittle diabetic, which means that you have a lot of trouble controlling the sugar levels within your blood. And I know that you're struggling a lot with hypos when your blood sugar goes very low, and hypers when the sugar is high, and that also can make you feel unwell. I think that living in this house where you are constantly stressed with health issues, especially summers, I think that that could be contributing to you having so much trouble keeping that sugar level even.
Prolonged exposure to stress and cold can have a significant impact on diabetics. When cold, the body burns more energy in an attempt to generate heat. so maintaining constant blood sugar levels can prove a challenge. When fighting illness such as colds and flu, the body also releases hormones that cause blood sugar levels to rise.
If you have a hypoglycemic attack, it can be very dangerous for you, and you've been there before. I know it can be very frightening for the person who's trying to deal with it. And Darren, luckily when that's happened, you've been there, but if Penelope was home alone after having a night up all night with Summer, and her sugars were really out of control, worst case scenario, she could die.
That was a real revelation to us. And I thought, this whole place, it's no wonder that these girls are so sick. Did you go to bed here?
To prevent the real and immediate danger to Penelope's life due to stress and the cold, the Warnesters must leave their home until it has been transformed by the experts from homesick to home safe.
Being told that we can't stay in our home anymore, I just can't describe those feelings.
At the same time, it was comforting to know that it was on the hands of people who knew what they were doing.